you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. I'm out here with Butterbean and Daisy. Got some pretty cool news about Daisy that I wasn't expecting, but I'll share it with you guys. So, as you guys know, the bully thing did not work out for me. I bought quite a few bullies. I basically purchased a program and just was not at all happy with the dogs. And so, as I do with Corso, I got rid of them. You know what I mean? If a dog is not breed quality, I pet them out. And that's exactly what I did with them. They didn't go to breeding homes. They literally are in pet homes. And I've done this over the years with Corso. I do have a very high standard. And ultimately, I've decided that for me personally, I'm not interested in having any kind of serious bully breeding program. Now, I did originally I kept 3 bullies. I kept Daisy, which this is Daisy. I kept Spooky, which some of you will probably remember Spooky, but he's a very cool looking dog. He's like, he's hard to explain. He's a black tricolor. So he's a tricolor, basically a black and tan, but he's got like a white head and he's got like white on his chest, like high white. And in his white, he has, what do they call it? Ticking, black spots all over the white. So it's a very unique dog. And that's why I call him Spooky, because he's just spooky looking. And anyway, but very, very cool, very flashy looking dog. Very good looking dog. You know, he's small, the same size, if not smaller than Daisy. And has the same head. I mean, just, you know, for a bully, very refined. So anyway, kept those 2, and then I kept Butters. But then whenever I rehomed all my bullies, one of my old customers that had a Corso for me was inquiring, and I was like, hey, I've got this one you may really like named Butters. And so they took Butters. So now the only 2 bullies that I have are Daisy and Spooky. And Daisy took forever to come into heat. I actually didn't think she ever would. Well, then she did. And I had her in a pen with Spooky. I have this deck that I built. And it's, you know, the kennels are up on top of that deck. And so they were together. And when she went into heat, I was like, you know, whatever, we'll see. I'm not investing any more money. So I'm not going to spend the money on doing artificial insemination or anything like that. Because really and truthfully, the bullies have been a financial loss for me. To the point that I ain't even got to pay no taxes for last year because it was nothing but a sheer loss as far as the money that I spent on bullies. So anyway, what you doing? Butterbean, where you going? Oh, that towel fell down. Dang it. Butterbean! Hi, baby boy. What you doing, fat man? What you doing, chunky boy? Yes, hello. Anyway, so I was like, whatever. If they can naturally breed, which is pretty rare in these dang dogs, you know, then all right, whatever. So I left them together, never saw them breed, never even saw him try to. So I didn't think that anything happened, which is fine. Well, these dang dogs, hold on. I may have to yell at them. You want to see a magic trick? Let's see. All right, let's see. Quiet down! It's a fun little magic trick. Okay, so anyway, sorry for any of the headphone users. So never saw them breed, never saw nothing. Well, she starts getting bigger. Tatas start getting bigger. And I said, all right. So I brought her in last night, did an ultrasound. Sure enough, she is very pregnant. Could not believe it. So good old Spooky boy did his job, did it naturally. And of all of the pairings I ever wanted to do, that's the one that I wanted to do the most. They are the most uniform. Their temperaments are the best. They don't try to fence fight. They're not aggressive. They're not, like a lot of the bullies have that pit bull thing where they absolutely want to fight. And I just don't have the time or energy for that anymore, nor the patience. So anyway, Daisy does not have that. Spooky does not have that. Neither did Butters, which is why I liked Butters and I was going to keep him. But anyway, so this is going to be super cool. I'm just very excited about it. because, like I said, Spooky is just such a cool looking dog, and Daisy is such a cool looking dog, and together they should produce some very interesting puppies. So anyway, I'm excited about it, and I probably will keep from that litter just as a pet. So we'll see, but very excited about it. Some of them will be available, but I'm not restarting any kind of bully program or anything like that. Like, it's more of just like these are my small batch. You know what I mean? Exquisite small batch bullies. You know what I'm saying? From my personal collection. That's literally what that's gonna be. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to do nothing. It's just not refined enough for me. You don't know by looking at pictures and whatnot what you're getting, and I'm not gonna spend the money flying around the country trying to make sure that each and every dog that I get, meets this criteria. So, that's just kind of how I feel about it. But yeah, I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? I'm really excited about it. So it's a fun little thing. For all of that to go bust the way that it did, it's nice. Hopefully I don't have the same issues that happened before with I only ever had one other litter of Bullies, and they did not survive. Took them to the vet. Vet couldn't figure out what was wrong with them. They were very anemic, and there was no way, we tried our best. There's nothing we could do to get them right. And it's just not a normal thing. And my mentor before had told me the same thing. Like, when I called him looking for help, and he was like, "Are their gums white?" And I said, "Yes." I was like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Yep." He's like, "There's nothing you can do." He goes, "They don't know why it happens, but it does. And there could be some unknown genetic variable where they just are unable to produce the right proteins for blood or whatever, but something is there and it causes that." Come on, Daisy. So anyway, just, a little bit of news, a little bit of something special. And I do have a lot of other stuff going on. I've just been I value my peace. I'm not going to lie to you. I value my peace. And my business does well enough on its own to not need YouTube. And I do this for you guys that like to watch. Like, the only reason that I do this is for those of you that really just love what I do, and you just need me. I get these emails and stuff, people telling me how much they love watching these videos, people that, maybe have health issues going on or whatever, and they, that's just their entertainment. But other than that, it's hard for me because when I upload, it's like, I feel like I'm like Trump. Like, people hate people that don't like me. It doesn't matter what I do. I could be giving food to the homeless and they would be griping about it. You know what I mean? And there's I can't do anything right for those kind of people. And a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I'm, whatever." I don't care what they think. It's not about that. But it's it's not like they stay in their lane. You know what I mean? They come on my page, they stalk my stuff. If you've never just dealt with harassment, it's easy to say, "Oh, well, just stop caring how they feel." It's not about caring how they feel. It's about the fact that they don't stay in their lane. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do. And I always have. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And believe me, any teacher that ever knew me as a child, I promise you, I've never had a problem doing exactly what the heck I want to do in life. You know what I mean? It's legitimately a problem. I've always had an issue with authority because I don't like to be told what to do, get down. And so it's not going to affect me in that regard. But what does annoy me is people coming on my page and really trying to argue about stuff that is just, they just don't know what they're talking about. And for example, with the straw, I've had people that are just very ignorant, and they're and they don't. No, Butterbean, quit. And they just don't know the science, nor do they want to. It's like a cult. You know what I mean? If you can have facts presented to you, right? unbiased facts, right? We're talking just the standard, which says it accepts fawn and red and lighter and darker shades of each. So if you can't accept facts and you're so indoctrinated in your cult of hate of Rachel or hate of Senza Tempo that you're willing to disregard facts just to disagree with me, and you want to come on my page and you want to do all this kind of stuff, like, do not be surprised when you are blocked immediately, because I don't care. I'm not gonna, like, you know what I mean? I don't have the time for it, and it's just a waste for me. It's like, if anything, the only thing that frustrates me is how dumb people can be. That's the only thing that I find like frustrating, is why it is that people are so basic like that. Like, I'm not like that. It doesn't matter how I feel about something. You guys know how I feel about black and tans, right? And yet I had to admit that black and tan exists even in the European dogs. Like, it doesn't matter how I feel about American Lions and having all the Rottweiler. I have a need to, oh, you punk. I have a need to be honest and to not be biased, and to never let how I feel affect what is right or wrong. Okay, it's a big part of my personality, in a fundamental way. I'm about to down. Quit it, Butterbean. Quit it. No. You were bad. You were bad. Psst. Bad dog. Psst. Bad dog. Quit. Disrespectful. He's spoiled. But anyway, I don't understand that. Like, I think the world would be a lot better place if we would just let facts, scientific fact, right? Like, that settles it. It doesn't, emotions, feelings, whatever. No, everything should come down to scientific fact. If you can prove it, then it's a fundamental truth, and that's it. It doesn't matter how you feel, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Facts are facts. And the facts are, cream is a form of red. It is recessive red, and our standard literally says, and lighter and darker shades of each. So therefore, it's allowed. But people will argue on it, because they have these biases. And I just don't, my brain, like, I see that as a self-limitation. You know what I mean? You are limiting yourself. You are choosing to be dumb. That's how I see it. You're choosing to be ignorant. You could be more intelligent. You could be smarter. But you're choosing not to, because you have this group of friends that might not be your friend anymore if you actually agreed with something that I said. Whether it's scientific fact or not, God forbid you actually agree with, like, I'm telling you, man, it's like if there's a Trump derangement thing, then there's a Senza Tempo derangement syndrome. You know what I mean? I swear to you. Like, I could say that the sky is blue and they'd be like, no, it's not. It's not actually blue. Like, anything I say, they would argue with. And I don't understand that. It's a point of personal pride that I try my best to always be scientifically, like, I want to be correct. I want to be knowledgeable. I want to be intelligent, right? I want to be educated. Those are important things for me. And some people don't care about that. You know what I mean? It's like there's another set of rules that they care more about that don't have anything to do with being intelligent. And I do believe that intelligence has to do with being able to recognize when you're wrong, and then having the emotional intelligence to be able to admit it. You know what I mean? Like, I had a hard time coming to heel on the black and tan thing, and Manny could tell you guys that. Like, Manny is a friend of mine who was more educated in genetics than I was at the time. And he really is fundamental in a lot of my understanding of genetics now. And it was like, and I had a hard time because the Europeans had told us that black and tan, solid black and tan, blah, 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 is different, this and that. And it's not different. It's not different. You gotta separate your attachment to people and your feelings about people and blah, blah, blah. Like, facts are facts. And you have to just be willing to accept them where they are. And so for me, that was, like I said, it was a hard one, but it was true. And all it ever did, by not being able to admit it, whenever I did see it out of pure European lines, these black and tan dogs, I literally, like, it's like, what do? Do you euthanize the puppy so nobody sees it? Or do you just sit there and eat crow whenever people see you post that dog? You know what I mean? And it's like, and I had to just admit it. Like, it just was what it was. And then once you get into the genetics of it all, then it's like, well, of course it was. If you have brindle pointed dogs, you're going to have tan pointed dogs, because pointing is its own gene. That has nothing to do with solid points or brindle points. Pointing is pointing. If you have pointing, you can have solid pointing or you can have brindle pointing, but you will have pointing. And so it's kind of like, it's hard to explain, but it's almost like having a career where the fundamentals are not required. You know what I mean? So if the fundamentals are not required, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, it's kind of like back in the day when we had like the witch trials, and we had all these tests that were not scientific and people believed in it. You know what I mean? And and that's kind of what it's like in dog breeding sometimes. If you don't understand color genetics, then you're gonna make statements like that this dog is not allowed, even though the standard says that fawn and red are both allowed and lighter shades of each. You're gonna say that it's something different because the word we use is straw. Therefore, straw's not in there. Like, it's a very ignorant way of looking at the subject. And I told you guys that I would do a more in-depth thing on it, but I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think that the people that need that information would even watch it, because I talked about it enough in that one video, and I don't think anybody that hates me, that wants to make an issue out of this color, is even going to watch the video. Therefore, I'm not even sure it's worth even making, because those of you that are not biased were able to look at it. Like, I had a couple people private message me, and they were able to look at it, and as soon as I sent them, and it was like, oh, boom, here we go. You know what I mean? Exactly how I was. It literally took me less than 5 minutes to understand what straw was and that it was allowed in our breed once I actually looked into it. I had never tried to look into it before. I didn't know what the color was. But as soon as Manny told me what it was, and I saw and then I looked it up online, and there's these websites dedicated to color genetics. And as soon as I saw what it was, I was like, well, duh. Like, really? This is what all the fuss is about? You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a basic thing, and people make it so complicated. And I don't consider myself to be a super smart person. I know that I'm not. I told you guys, I can't even freaking do division. Like, math is like, I have a severe disability in math. There's a lot of things and areas that my brain doesn't really work very well in, but in the areas my brain does, like, I would say that I do feel that I'm intelligent in those areas, but I would never think of myself as a genius or anything like that. I don't, it's not at all. It's just that I think what makes me different is I value honesty and respecting scientific fact. You know what I mean? I have a respect for the scientific method. And I think that that's a really important thing that is not necessarily even considered when it comes to breeding dogs in a lot of people. You know what I mean? So anyway, I don't know. Happy Halloween. Congratulations if you made it this far. If you did, then let's leave the comment that straw is red. Straw is red. Let's get that through people's minds. Straw is red. It is the lightest form of red. All right? That is scientific fact, you guys. Anyway, I was going to go riding this weekend, and now I'm not. I'm pretty ticked off about it. I haven't been riding in a while, you guys. This is like an addiction, riding these things, getting to go riding. But because of the dang modifications that I did to it, I got to spend a lot more money on trying to make it, capable of handling all of that. So I got these new clutches that I got to put in. And anyway, there's always something, but I don't know. That's how things are, right? Like, hobbies cost money. So, and I like to go fast. I like to go fast. I like horsepower. I like loud cams. I like loud exhaust. I like turbo sounds. So anyway, well, I hope you guys have a good day. And I hope you know me, I'm going to rant. I'm going to do my thing. Please don't do that comment where you're like, God, I wish you'd get to the point where you don't care anymore, Rachel. Look, the fact that I care is why I'm at where I'm at. You know what I mean? That stuff fuels my passion. It doesn't make me want to give up. It doesn't ruin my day. It literally, like, the only reason I even know about straw and I learned about it was because of all of the issues that people have with it. So that kind of stuff is good for me. It's like fuel, you know what I mean, for my fire. So in a way, it's a good thing. It's not, it used to be, I think I did used to need to kind of toughen up a bit. But I have. And I think a lot of that is just age. But anyway, don't worry about me. You know what I mean? I'm fine. Like, I'm going to be fine. I'm you know what I mean? I'm a hard worker, and no matter what, I'm always going to be fine. So, but yeah, sometimes when simple things are made way more difficult than they need to be because people have biases and these like cult-like, I think it's a cult-like, I really do. I think if you are willing to ignore facts over an ideology of the people that you surround yourself with, then you are in a cult. And so, like, and you're willing to fight for that, come on people's pages, cause all kinds of problems for them, like whatever. Not cause all kinds of problems for me. They really can't cause me any problems anymore. I mean, it just, like, they've tried it. They cried wolf so many times. I mean, you just can't, animal control. They've called animal control on me so many times. They love me. I mean, I know them, like, personally. We sit and have conversations. It's like, I don't have anything to fear in that regard. The only irritations are just, like I said, I do try my best to help educate people. You guys know that I've been doing it a long time. And I do there's a certain level of frustration when people ignore blatant facts. Like, I don't know why. I do try to remind myself that, all kinds of people exist, all kinds of intelligence levels exist, and you just got to accept that. You can't expect too much out of some people. And so that's why I just block people now. A lot of the times, like, some people will say, well, one guy was like, wanted me to join this group, and he's like, well, people are just trying to learn. And it's like, I don't know about that. Because if they wanted to learn, they just look it up. It's Google. Like, if you really want to know something, you're not going to rely on another human being to tell you in regards to, like, some Facebook group. You're going to go and look it up. You're going to find, like I did, you're going to go on the pages that are there to educate about color genetics, and you're just going to look it up. And you're going to get to the source of it. You know what I mean? You're going to get to the source of the facts. But if you're not willing to do that, if you have to have some rando person on the internet or some person who's built up enough clout points to be taken to be taken seriously on the internet, and that's who you want to listen to, then I'm sorry, but that's not, like I said, that's a cult. Like, you're literally, you're a follower looking for a leader. You know what I mean? And I am not a follower. I'm not a leader either, so don't try to come follow me, because I'm not, I am very much, I'm not going to say I'm like antisocial, but I am somewhat of a loner. And I like to be by myself for the most part. I have certain friends, you know what I mean? Things like that. And I do like to go out and do stuff. But even the things that I do is like social things for antisocial people. Like, whenever I go ride this thing, you know what I mean? And I go to the parks, it's like you little wave and this and that, you know what I mean? Whatever. But we're not out hanging out with each other per se the whole time. Like, I don't know. It just, I don't know. So anyway, but yeah, enough rambling. I got to get to work. I got to feed everybody and get my chores done. 'Cause, I try to get everything done in the mornings now. So anyway, enough rambling. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.